things here. Oh, it's a cannon rush to open.
Wow.
And to open up. One, they were saying there was going to be a cannon rush even from stats. Let's see if he can make this work. All right, does it right in his face.
Yep. He should get the block off. There it is. 3 pylon block now. A second probe is being sent out here. We want to keep an eye on that second probe as well.
Yeah, that second probe is actually even more important in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You've got to get to the high ground. You've got to be able to warp in some more cannons there.
Great gateway block here. And now he's going to plant a pylon here. So the low ground cannon is there to cover the high ground pylon. Now, keep in mind, the gas over here, the first one was taken, is on the left side. The pool is obviously far, far away from any kind of cannon location. That would basically be the last structure to be killed here in a cannon rush. And the game would be over far long before that happens here. So he needs to try to spam out as many cannons as possible here. Mm-hmm. And there's also the option, and we see gas being taken, by the way, the option to do a mortal push here. As this continues on.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. He actually lets the hatchery finish. I'm fine with that. I'm interested that he just hasn't even began to start to defend this. There was no probes pulled or drones pulled whatsoever, which I've been told is the new counter to cannon rushes, is just diving on their probes with your workers.
And this can only mean that the Zerg is intending to rush as quickly into some type of tech to save himself here. Now, we don't have a layer.
Yeah, he's certainly going for Ravagers. There's absolutely nothing else that this could possibly be at this point. Looks like a couple Lings might go across the map right there, which I think is fine, but let's see if the Ravagers can actually do it, if they can save it. Like, he hasn't lost really any mining time or anything so far.
Right. Now, the Ravagers over time will just always beat cannons, because you can corrosive bile them down at a distance, so you're never having to trade any kind of damage or, anything of the sort. We have a cannon, and now 3 batteries going down here, and that's to try to give the Protoss the ability to sustain presence here in this rush.
Yeah, this is a zoning spine, I believe. It's going to kind of give a little bit of support when units come up to fight. Obviously we see a Stalker coming out right now, so that's something that can kind of poke forward and then get healed up. Now the Ravagers are out. Let's see.
Okay, Zealot, Stalker, 2 probes up here.
Dude, I think that Rogue is going to hold this pretty cleanly.
It's moments like this that you can make a fool out of a cannon rusher if you hold this off, if they completely get to execute what they intended to do, and then you shut it down. So he's actually spamming down the shield batteries right now. He's got a pretty good sweet spot there where he can hit all 3 of those by firing right in the middle.
Look at that one Stalker trying to be like a cannon itself. It's just... I almost feel bad. It seems so weak comparatively. It's like, I poked the drone, and now I poke you. It's like, well, I don't think any of this is enough damage. Look at that. Another shield battery going down, a gateway at home for stats. He's slowing down the Zerg, but what's he really gaining here?
He's destroyed 1 structure so far. The Roaches and Ravagers are beginning to mass up quite a bit.
So right now it seems like Stats' plan is just Stalkers.
Yeah.
With that second gateway that's right here, just production of Stalkers. Maybe over time he can out-micro him. He does have the cannons helping out.
Stalkers can be better against Roaches if controlled right.
He's starting to do some damage there. Look at that. One of the Ravagers getting pretty low. Looks like all his shield batteries going to be going down, unfortunately.
It's key to lose as little Stalkers as possible. You're both basically trying to power up as much as you can get away with. Okay, now he's about to get that. He does get the Spine Crawler. Very important here.
Oof.
But cannons are going to start going down here, which is going to give a lot less cover.
Yeah, he's picked off a few units here and there, but since he's already lost a Stalker, he's already lost all his shield batteries, I can't see this continuing forever. I still feel like Rogue is going to hold.
Keep in mind, these are not even warp gates, okay? He's actually just making these Stalkers out of the gateways like it was a StarCraft 1 game. He's just trying to get as many Stalkers out as quickly as possible. You have Zerg hanging on here with 1 hatchery. Nice snipe there on the Queen. Very important unit to take out in this rush.
And he's still making some shield batteries. Looks like he's going to come up and try to throw down another one.
It's very important that probe isn't killed off, by the way. Yeah. The more buildings he can just put in here, and it's more of a headache for the Zerg.
Yeah, by the way, we should mention that this micro from Stats is so important. He's trying to keep the Ravagers back so they get less biles upon his buildings. Obviously, he's taking some additional damage due to that. Oh my god, the vials are just so good. But Rogue continues to push. Stalkers, the Stalker count of Stats is getting higher and higher.
Another Roach bites the dust. I think Stats might barely pull this off. We're starting to see that Zerg unit count thin out, and the Stalker count is not going to slow down. He's managed successfully over and over to retreat behind those shield batteries and heal those Stalker counts up.
Wow, look at all those shield batteries really helping out. Has he hit a moment here where he can actually just kind of snowball it forward? That is so many stalkers.
If he can get rid of this spine crawler, it's going to be really big. It does go down. It's just one queen. The queen is stuck out in the front, and it goes down as well. I think Stats has done it. I think he's going to start closing in here, and I don't see any way to escape from this. Slings are being made now. GG, Stats.
This will be the interesting part to see if Stats really goes for it on 3 nexuses, or is he going to go higher than that? You know, I think that the 4th nexus is like, that's the area where if you are not being intensely aggressive at that point, your opponent will get into his endgame, you know? 3 nexuses is the comfortable zone where it's like, okay, you can macro and also attack and keep it on a lower tech than Broodlord Infestor. But if he goes any further than that, I'm going to start feeling a bit nervous about him entering that late game, which is really Rogue's domain.
Well, the 4th Nexus, unless you've done a whole bunch of attacks before you took that 4th Nexus, is basically a nod that you're comfortable with the idea of Zerg getting quite deep into their own tech, which is really what both Terrans and Protosses are trying to circumnavigate. Most Zergs in this year, as well as last year, but I'd say it's been more pronounced this year. Most Zergs, when they lose, it's due to a timing attack. Someone comes in and blindsides them before they're able to get to where they were trying to go. What just happened? I was looking at you.
He turns on the Oracle, kills 2 creep tumors, right?
Oh, and then this.
And then the queens come out and queued up 8 creep tumors immediately. Does anyone else think that creep tumors should cost 50 mana instead of 25? You with me on that, Tasteless?
I wonder what that would look like, actually.
It would look like no creep for Zerg in the early game.
Every time a creep tumor is shot down, we have to go into play-by-play mode.
Yeah. Oh, he got the creep tumor! That's crazy!
Late game's over now. Zerg's out of the late game.
It's like you don't even get Psystorm anymore. You just get feedback for the queens. You're feedbacking 48 energy queens left and right. Yeah, and it looks like he's setting up various areas to throw down that Nydus. Okay, Stats sees it here with the Phoenix. Okay, he's actually sending his army over. Well, he's sending his army out. This will be interesting to see exactly how he wants to deal with it. So he's actually going to power that down in a matter of seconds here.
Okay, so the second Nydus started up over here.
Well, that's really funny because it seemed like a really fantastic idea, right?
Yeah,
to kill the Nydus before your opponent, you know, and maybe trap the units or something, right? But then, like, the single queen pops out, heals it, and then actually the trade turned good for Zerg with the Locust fighting the army. Like, if Stats had insta-pulled his army back, that would have been all right, but yeah.
Everything looked really weird about that. The Nydus inside there has been denied. Another Nydus is going to pop in here. Again, the idea is you're trying to seesaw the position of your opponent's army and throw them off. Here comes Void Ray here.
Yeah, I don't think that's the answer.
Yeah, that's not going to be enough to deal with this. Roach is coming in here from the top. And only 4 Zealots to defend here. Once again, they can dive onto this Archon. Oh, good pickup there, though, with the Warp Prism.
Yeah, if he had lost another Archon immediately, I would have been very sad for him there. A little Warp in his Zealots. It's not going to do too much. Going to slow this down for a bit, though. Looks like he's utilizing a recall as well to stop that damage. Another Nydus coming in to the north. Stats? Oh, no. A lot of things going wrong right now.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit worried for Stats here. The damage is starting to stack up. He's got the Immortals coming down here. Actually, they're going to try to take out the Nydus Worm first. There's another location just north of where we were looking. And this is going to be another point where he can attack in here at the 3rd as well. Storm's on the way. And Storm kind of stops the Swarm host, but not exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you can deal with them a little bit, but the refresh rate on those Locusts and the fact that they're going to do a little bit of damage anyways makes it so that you don't want to just have that as your entire plan to deal with them. All right, so nice warp in here. Looks like you should be able to defend mostly from these roaches. Oh my god, even getting burrow. Love it. No burrow movement as of yet.
That's fine. I mean, it does force them to stay in that position for a little bit while there's other opportunities to do damage elsewhere. I got to say, those Stats, it's pretty impressive how he's handled this so far, even though he's taken a few pretty big hits here.
But Stats is starting to get more efficient on this, right? His Immortals are taking better fights. He's getting off good Psystorms as well.
You know, the Burrowed Roaches are actually only furthering the troubles of the positional game here for the Protoss.
That one in particular not doing so well. But, you know, he is stretching that multitasking of stats. Who, by the way, getting up into a mothership, so we'll see how he does with that.
Yeah,
but
I think we're almost to the end of the multi-pronged harass here.
Yep.
So we're getting the Hydra tech out now. Oh, I say that now another Nydus network starts in the main.
I think Nyduses are so cheap, you can just continually throw them up in positions like this.
I guess you can always set one up and force them to run back and defend.
Yeah.
And
even if nothing comes out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Even if you never intended for anything to come out. It's the cost of that, while that guarantees your 5th base can be taken, is making Rogue look very, 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 very strong. Get the pylon! Nope.
But yeah, I love the Lurker den that's coming out for Rogue right now.
Yeah.
When you look at the actual army that's been made, my God, Rogue, you're just nonstop.
Shine is having to really focus here in observing this game.
He's using all his pro gamer skills.
I know,
at the
this
moment.
is Shine's doing more multitasking here than the players at this point in time.
Yeah, if you look at this army set, like switching into some Hydras with Lurker, the Lurkers are going to be just outstanding. Like Blink Stalker against Lurker, it's something you don't even want to see. You're going to have to close your eyes. We're going to have to turn the stream off. You know,
it'll be like in Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they couldn't look after they opened the Ark. It's going to be too much.
It's NSFP, not safe for Protoss, man. Stalkers against Lurkers is just not a real fight.
If he gets a Nydus in the main and sets the Lurkers up there, it's going to be a disaster.
Oh yeah, that's always a fun one. Well, the mothership is out. It's not really doing that much because we have 5 overseers here in siege mode.
Look at this, man.
The flank of the
Rogue is a beast.
Yeah, he's pretty beastly. That's a good way to put it.
He is so good. By the way, there's a Nexus being taken actually above this fight. The Zerg might accidentally, they're going to retreat into this and probably take this out.
Accidentally kill it? Is that what you were going to say?
Oh, there's a Nexus here. No, I guess not. I guess the mothership and the Stalkers are too much of a threat.
Yeah, so, I mean, Stats is doing a reasonable job fighting, to be honest. But he hasn't retained the high-end units as well as I think you need to. Like, look at that army right there.
Yeah.
That's an army that you know has seen some fights. Because there's like 1 Archon, a lot of gateway units, 4 Immortals, and we're 14 minutes in, right? What we should be seeing is like 5 Archons and 4 or 5 High Templars, you know, and 8 Immortals. That's a real army that you didn't have 100 fights with and lose pieces to. He's like a puzzle box where you've lost the corners or something. It's like, do you even want to do that puzzle? Why do you even do puzzles?
Oh, wow. 2 more Nyduses here. 1 adjacent to the main, 1 inside. As this fight is happening here at the very upper right. Now, if Protoss loses this, he's going back to the basis he was on for most of this game. So it's very important he actually takes this fight, or Stats takes this fight, I should say. Now, these storms are about as good as you can ask for, but even then it appears, that's too much.
Yeah.
GG. Rogue takes game 2, even in this...